All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wonderful people, also freedom all over the world. Wherever you're joining us from today, you're highly welcome to this wonderful YouTube channel that gives you quality news and information on everything happening in Biafran territory. Now, there is something that happened to Mazi Símon Èkpá, in Finland. I've said this over and over again. Freedom fighting is not for kids. If you don't understand what I mean, freedom fighting is not for kids, it's not for children, because it will break you psychologically, it will break you physically. And you're not just battling against, flesh, you're battling against flesh and blood. Because even your own blood, your family, direct family, will rebel against you. Because the zoo or the agents of the zoo are ready to use anybody to rebel against you. Something has been happening, with Símon Èkpá that we do not know. Símon Èkpá has been handling more than one court case, and the truth is that Biafrans are not even aware of it. In fact, as a matter of fact, we're just getting information that Símon Èkpá is handling about 3 cases, and one of the case Símon Èkpá is handling currently is a family case. He won one, is about to win the main case, which is against the zoo government. He won one in US, I think the one from US or so. Then he is handling a case with his family, I think within family. And the reality is that this man has been handling this on Kumasi level, on a low. He's going through a lot at this point in time, and the least Símon Èkpá needs is all these whole shenanigan and controversies going to and fro, within Biafra. Now, let me drop the main video of the court hearing, so that you will listen. So make sure that every Biafrans gets this video so that they will know, the current state of their Prime Minister Símon Èkpá in Joko. Make sure you share this video.
Today being the 30th of June of 2025, a lot of fascinating and a lot of groundbreaking events has unfolded in the country of Finland regarding the man known as Mr. Símon. Yes, in this video we shall be disclosing the latest news and updates coming from that country, because Símon has lost a 3rd case. Yes, just in case you don't know, Símon had 3 cases going on at the same time. The very first case is a case he has with the federal government of Nigeria, the government of Finland, regarding inciting violence and terrorist activities in Nigeria. Yes, the second one is the case he has with a DC court situated or located in Washington, DC, which he has been cleared of. And the 3rd case here is it's a family case. It's family related, and unfortunately, this guy has lost out in that particular case. So the question here is, what is this case and how did it play out, or how will it affect him going forward? Well, just in case you don't know, around the 21st of November of 2024, the day Símon was apprehended or arrested by the Finnish police, that same day, his wife immediately noticed that Símon has been arrested and was linked with terrorist activities in Nigeria based off the report released by the government of Finland and the government of Nigeria. Yes, the moment she saw that news coming from the government of Finland, she immediately, swiftly filed for a divorce. Yes, she went swiftly to a court situated in Lahti. She filed for an immediate divorce and also to claim absolute and full custody of their offsprings. Yes, and all of these things happened within 3 days. Yes, Símon was arrested on the 21st of November, and on the 23rd, she has filed for a divorce and to gain full custody of her offsprings. But as we speak, there's an update. We've received clear and definite updates regarding this case that will definitely go a long way. So the question here is, what is this update? But before we go down to that update to disclose and showcase every single thing within, there's something you need to know. The moment this lady, the ex-wife of Símon, known as Marian Sakajave, went to file for a divorce and also claim full custody of her kids, the police officers there in Lahti asked her to do the following. Showing right now on your screen is what they asked her to do. The very first one here is that she was asked to change information There are indications that she was advised to change all personal information she had shared with Símon, including their residence details. And the second one here is work closely with the Finnish police on the case. So the moment she filed for a divorce, she was asked to do two things. You have to work with us, work with the police, and to help us investigate your husband. And the second thing is here is that you have to change all of your personal contacts, all of your information online, your address, every single thing you shared with this man must be changed immediately. Yes, and this is coming from the Finnish police as reported by a news agency domiciled in Finland. So, but then let's go back to the case. How did the case between Marian Sakajave and Símon ended? Well, just in case you don't know, the court of law in Lati has absolutely signed the full divorce of Marian Sakajave and Símon. And at the same time, the court of law has granted Marian full custody of their offspring. Yes, even as we speak, a popular media outlet in Finland known as Yale has already registered Marian Sakajave as the former wife to Símon. Show you right now on your screen is an evidence. Take a look at the highlighted part of your screen. It states his former wife, lawyer Marian Sakajave. This came as a shocker. And at the same time, she has gotten full custody of her kids. And this definitely will place Símon in a very emotional situation. But then that is not even all. That is not even all. We also have a big news to share with you in this particular video. A lady who works in the Paijahami District Court she came out to give us, to disclose some information about Símon case that definitely you wouldn't want to miss out at this particular point in time. Yes, this lady works as a clerk in that court room, and she has witnessed all of the court hearings, all of the court proceedings. She even handled some court documents and other important files, and she came out to disclose something very, very huge, something very gigantic that you all need to see. All supporters of the USB movement must see at this particular point in time. But then we'll come back to that in a second, because we still have other very vital information to share with you. But just in case you don't know, last week on the 28th of June of 2025, the DPM, the Deputy Prime Minister of the USB movement, came out to make a post. And as we speak, this post is going to be used somehow, some way against Símon. This doesn't make sense in any way, shape or form. So the question here is, what is this post and how will it affect Símon? Well, take a look at this screenshot or publication showing right now on your screen. It states, breaking, United States of Biafra Ejema signed, sealed, delivered. I told you all the United States of Biafra USB currency Ejema copies printed by one of the best and top minting companies in the world. Biafrans made it easy. Be happy. Thank you. So when you look at this tweet, definitely there's nothing incriminating in this tweet. There's nothing that can be used against Símon, and there's nothing that the prosecuting lawyer in the Paijahami District Court can capitalize on. But then let me show you something. Showing right now on your screen is a new currency is released by the USB government. And when you look closely, you find the face, you clearly see the face of Símon embedded on the one Ejema currency. Yes, so as we speak, the prosecuting lawyer in the Paijahami District Court came out recently to give a clear speech, to give a clear statement about this currency and how it's going to be used to prosecute Símon. Well, just in case you don't understand what is currently going on here, the DPM released some notes, some currencies named Ejema, which is associated with the USB, the Biafran movement. In that note, Símon's face was embedded, a man who is currently facing trial in a Paijahami District Court situated in Finland for terrorist activities and inciting violence in the southeastern region of Nigeria. When Símon was facing trial, he said that he's just a content creator and whatever he says or writes up shouldn't be taken seriously, and that him being the Prime Minister of the USB nation is just a ceremonial office and nothing to be taken too seriously. But now things has changed. The prosecuting lawyer said, this cannot be a joke. This cannot be ceremonial. Your face, you, a man suspected of different activities in Nigeria, your face has appeared on a note, a currency, and you said you are just a content creator. The man was like, show me any content creator that their face is printed in the currency note. And this said lawyer also went a step further to do a proper filing. Yes, he wrote down 5 ways this currency note will affect Símon going forward, and how he planned on making a proper case in the court of law come Wednesday this week, which probably should be the 2nd of July of 2025. Yes, the 2nd of July of next month, Símon is going to face the Pajahami District Court for the continuation of his bailing system or bail application, and I'm very sure the prosecuting lawyer will definitely bring this currency up as a way to prevent the Pajahami District Court from granting this guy a possible bail. Said prosecuting lawyer also presented an article released by Símon sometime last year, on the 11th of July of last year. Showing right now on your screen is this article where he claimed that Símon made a statement about the creation of this particular currency known as Ejema. Yes, so as we speak, this guy is going to use it against Símon when the Pajahami District Court continues with the bail application of the defendant. This is going to be a massive one, a very, very interesting one. I will urge you to subscribe to this channel and turn on post notifications. So moving on swiftly, I told you that a lady who works in Pajahami District Court as a clerk came out recently to make a full declaration and full expose of the backdoor activities or back-end analysis of Símon's case. Well, we have managed to summarize every single thing she has to say regarding the case of Símon, and let's show you some very, very vital piece of information that you need to see at this particular point in time. Well, showing right now on your screen is a full summary of Símon's case. As you can clearly see, the trial commenced on the 30th of May of 2025. It also exposed the core charges, which includes incitement to terrorism, membership in a terrorist group, and so on and so forth. And the proposed sentencing is a minimum of 6 years. And like we all know, he's currently in Kilamakowski Correctional Center and is being represented by a man known as Karl Gumeres, who became very much active in his case sometime in April of 2025. So this is a full summary of every single thing you need to know, but then let's go deeper and let's break and dissect every single thing that has to do with this case. And this lady has given us a possible prediction of how Símon's case will definitely end. She came out to say, see, I work with the lawyers, I've seen everything firsthand, and I know how this case will end. I'll show you what she has to say and her prediction. But then let's start with the very first thing she shared. Let's start with the very first data she shared. She came out to drop 5 big advantage of Símon and 5 top advantage that his lawyer is currently using in dealing with his case. Showing right now on your screen are these 5 top advantages Símon is currently enjoying. The very first one is there are no confirmed physical link to violence. The second one is freedom of speech protections in Finland. The third year is digital evidence chain. The fourth year is political overtones, and the fifth year is strong legal team. I'll break every single thing down for you to understand one after the other, so you see the advantage Símon is currently enjoying, and let's see how this case will possibly end. Well, let's start with the very first one. It states no confirmed physical link to violence, and the impact here is so far no direct proof that Símon ordered or funded a specific violent act, e.g. bombing or unaliving, that weakens a terrorism conviction. The second year is freedom of speech protections in Finland. Finland has strong civil liberties. If prosecutors can't prove direct incitement to violence, he may be protected under Finnish laws. The third one is digital evidence chain. If Nigerian source digital posts were manipulated or improperly preserved, they may be dismissed. The fourth year is political overtones. Courts may avoid a heavy sentence if they believe the case is more political than criminal. While the fifth year is strong legal team. Símon has hired a capable Finnish lawyer known as Karl Gumeres, who may succeed in weakening prosecution claims. Yes, so these are the 5 advantages Mr. Símon is currently enjoying. Yes, from the very first one, there's no confirmed physical link to violence. So as we speak, even the prosecuting lawyer has not been able to link him with any violence so far. All we have are just presumptions, assumptions, and possible witness statements. But then as we speak, there's no pure linkage between Símon and any of the crimes committed in the southeastern region of Nigeria. But then let's look at some disadvantages Símon will face when trial will continue or when the judges plan on making any form of declaration. The very first one is prosecution has intensive digital evidence. Yes, the prosecution, that is the prosecuting lawyer, has an extensive digital evidence. This is actually very clear to understand. Yeah, so far so good. When you go to Simon's Twitter page, you see a lot of comments, you see a lot of his posts and write-up that even a very, very amateur lawyer will be able to use to pin him down or use it as a case or probably shake him up in the courtroom session. Yes, the second one here is leadership role in the BRGI. Yes, his role as a prime minister of a self-declared government may be interpreted as organizing for sedation even without physical violence. This is straight to the point. Simon's Twitter page reads that he is the prime minister of the BRGI, which he claims is just ceremonial and shouldn't be taken seriously. But as we all know, the prosecuting lawyer has used that against him. Yes, him being the prime minister, written clearly on his Twitter page, has become a very big evidence presented by the prosecuting lawyer. The third one is asset freezes and financial records. Treats: if prosecutors prove that any funding from Finland ended up with armed groups like IPOB or the ESN, the case will become much stronger. And the fourth one here is use of symbolism, e.g. HMA currency, which we've spoken about. And the fifth here is past warnings ignored. So these are the loopholes or the disadvantages that Simon will definitely face and that the prosecuting lawyer will bring or use it against him in the courtroom session. Yes, but then that is not even all. This is not even the interesting part of the whole video. Let's look at the percentages. Yes, this clerk came out to say that I've been in all court sessions, I've listened to the court proceedings, and I've spoken with his lawyers, and I've spoken with different lawyers in the country. I know the percentage of Simon's freedom. I know the chances Simon stands in the court of law. Yes, so now let's look at the chances of Simon being convicted in the Paijahame District Court, or the chances of Simon that he'll be acquitted and set free. Well, showing right now on your screen is a quick breakdown of every single thing this lady said, the clerk that works in Paijahame. So let's explain what we can see right now on our screen. So this clerk started with full acquittal, not guilty on all charges, and the possible percentage of the court of law, the Paijahame District Court, acquitting and freeing Mr. Simon is 10 to 15%, which is very unlikely unless prosecutors fail to prove intent or direct incitement. This is coming from this lady and not me. So the chances of Mr. Simon being fully acquitted is 10 to 15%. Now, what about being convicted on lesser charges? Yes, so we all know that Simon is facing about 3 different count charges. The very first one is tax evasion, the second is being linked to terrorism, and the third is incitement in the southeast region of Nigeria. So this lady is saying Simon might be convicted on a lesser charges, and for Simon to be convicted for a lesser crime is 30 to 40%, which is possible if incitement cannot be proven, but disruptive rhetoric is established, may result in fines or suspended sentence. So for Simon to be fined, for Simon to be given a lesser conviction, this lady claims it's about 30 to 40%, very much possible. Wow. So let's go down to the point of conviction on main charges. Conviction on main charges, that is to say, conviction on incitement to terrorism or terror affiliation. This clerk is saying for Simon to be convicted for all of the charges leveled against him is quite high. The percentage here is 45 to 55%. This is actually very high, which is definitely above average. So she's saying 45 to 55%, most likely if digital trail is strong and tied to real world violence, which can carry up to like 3 to 6 years prison time. So for Simon to be convicted, it's about 45 to 55%. But then she also went a step further to give us more clarity on the case of extended sentencing. So like we all know, Simon is facing a minimum of 6 years, meaning that the prosecuting lawyer can ask for more years if the case arises. So what are the chances of Simon being convicted for extended numbers of years? That is 0%, as clearly written on your screen. It states 0% depends on whether prosecutors can prove direct link to terrorist funding or organized crimes in that part of the country. This is a massive one, and this is somebody who knows the court in and out, someone who has listened to the court session, seen the body languages of the judges, the body language of the suspect, the body languages of the lawyers involved, and she came up with a full prediction. These are not coming from me, and these are not my own words. It's coming from a lady who claims to work as a clerk in that courtroom session at some point in time. Well, we don't know why she's releasing this. We don't know why this was published. We don't know the intention behind it. Maybe this is done to dampen the spirit of Símon, or maybe to make him feel emotional with the fact that the divorce process and his ex-wife has gotten full custody of their offsprings. This can be a strategy to weaken this man, or probably make him to do something that he wouldn't do on a normal day. But then that is not even all. Something interesting also played out, and something everybody needs to pay attention to. Every single, if you claim to be a supporter of the USB, you claim to love Nnamdi Kanu, and you claim to love Símon, there's something that has happened that you definitely need to pay attention to at this particular point in time. So the question here is, what has happened, and how does it concern, or how will it affect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu going forward? Well, before we look at it, before we take a look at every single thing that has played out, please do well to subscribe and turn on post notifications, because here we'll give you all the latest updates and breaking news as it all unfolds. So please subscribe and turn on post notifications. Thanks. So let's continue with the video. We all know that on the 27th of June of 2025, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a case held in Kenya regarding the way and method he was abducted from Kenya to Nigeria, that case was held in a court situated in that country. And surprisingly, Nnamdi Kanu won that case file. But then, as we speak, something is currently happening in Kenya. The court that gave that declaration is planning on doing something very, very different from what they've published and from what an activist known as Dr. David Masanga posted. Well, for better clarity, let's start from the tweet released on the 27th of June of 2025. The tweet that gave us more clarity that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu has won a case file in Kenya. Showing right now on your screen is this tweet coming from Ngozi Orabueze. It reads, and I quote, "Breaking: Nnamdi Kanu wins. Lesson for Finland to release Símon immediately. Nigeria's transnational repression must be condemned and stopped." Nnamdi Kanu was exonerated and also awarded 10 million Kenyan shillings by the Kenyan High Court for the extraordinary rendition engineered by the Nigerian terrorist state headed by President Tinubu and Christopher Musa. This win is a win for the United States of Biafra, Símon and the Biafran people who has declared their independence and exited from a country that not only disobeys the rule of law, infringes on the fundamental rights of its citizens, but also reintegrates non-terrorists into the army, police, and security apparatus. Nnamdi Kanu should be released by the Nigerian government. United States of Biafra is a dream fulfilled by over 70 million people. And this tweet was released by the Deputy Prime Minister in the person of Ngozi Orabueze, where a Kenyan High Court granted Nnamdi Kanu a 20 million Kenyan shillings fee or charges for damages. But as we speak, something else is currently happening behind the scenes. This Kenyan High Court and the individuals involved are not ready or willing to pay a 20 or a 10 million Kenyan shillings fee in charges or damages to